Greetings, everyone. Stephen here from Faded Crossings. I realize it's been a while since I've uploaded any posts, but I think I've had a good excuse. I have been struggling with COVID. I have been suffering with COVID-19 over the past month, but fortunately I am much better. And being an astrologer, let me just say, it's not like I didn't see it coming. But, naturally when we see negative things headed our way, we hope for the best and hope that the evil will not befall us, as it were. We like to be optimistic. And at any rate, here I am. Thank God I have recovered and am ready to resume regular uploads. So today I want to talk about the moon in Sagittarius. One of my favorite moons, very enthusiastic and very uplifting. I think we can all agree, those of us who know people who have moon in Sagittarius, we can all agree that they usually are very uplifting people. But relying or falling back on the traditional view, we also get a very positive outlook for this placement. A lot of the medieval astrologers would say that people who have a moon in Sagittarius or a moon in Pisces, either or, what matters for these individuals is that the moon is in a sign ruled by Jupiter. So they would say that the moon in a sign of Jupiter shows that the native is going to be great, is going to be a good person, and is going to be very fortunate, very lucky. But they also would have specified that those of us with a moon in Sagittarius or a moon in Pisces would be popular with her or his peers. But there was also this idea, and this is quite amusing, that someone with the moon in a sign of Jupiter would also have intercourse with an individual who was not suitable for them, believe it or not. Maybe someone who was a little too close to them, or in other respects was just not suitable for them. But either way, this fiery moon, like our other fire moons in Aries and Leo, is very action-oriented, very dynamic, very decisive, quick to take action, ready to attack, ready to defend its interests, very self-focused, very exuberant about expressing the self. So this is something that the moon in Sagittarius has in common with people who have moons in Aries or Leo. They come on very strong, possibly with voracious appetites. But the interesting thing about Sagittarius, and this is a feature that's common to all mutable signs, the mutable signs tend to swing or vacillate between a cardinal and a fixed expression. This is how I was actually taught to interpret the mutable signs by my teacher, and this is how some traditional or medieval astrologers would interpret the mutable signs. They switch back and forth between a cardinal and a fixed expression. So being mutable, this fiery sign, Sagittarius, this moon is always in transition, ready for change, very adaptable. The mutability of Sagittarius makes those with the moon here very curious and observant people, very youthful, enjoying the interaction of opposites, actually adapting very readily to change, alert to changes, needing to change. So if you are involved with someone who has this moon, then you have to be prepared for this person always to be seeking new possibilities, always needing changes, always needing variety. This is very important. If you're close to someone with moon in Sagittarius, then you need to be able either to tolerate their need for variety or to provide that variety for them. There's a desire or a lust for all things that are multifaceted. So any routine or monotony is absolutely death to the moon in Sagittarius. And this would not be the case for someone whose moon was in Leo. Someone who has a moon in Leo can readily adapt themselves to any routine, and they are not so chafed and irritated by monotony, because these are fixed qualities. So the reason that mutable signs exist, their raison d'etre, as it were, their spiritual task, is to break down energies that have already expressed themselves, that have already hit a plateau in expression, and to reformulate these energies. And this is what Sagittarius does. This is what moon in Sagittarius does. It breaks down the fiery force, which has already spent itself. It breaks it down and releases it and gives it a new formulation and distributes this energy in a new way, preparing it for a new future cycle of cardinality. So people with the moon in Sagittarius are extremely alert, very flexible, and very open to changes. So we're talking about an individual who lives a lot in their mind, an individual who feeds and feasts upon these grand ideals. This is what inspires them, and this is what allows them to inspire other people. The Mercury mutable signs are more aroused by facts, figures, concrete matters, things that can be experimented upon, things that can be proven, things that can be measured. So the other mutable signs that are ruled by Jupiter, Sagittarius and Pisces, are more turned on by inspirational ideas. So what we're dealing with here with any mutable sign, but also with Moon in Sagittarius, is someone who is kind of burdened down with a lot of nervous energy. And that nervous energy has to be channeled properly. If it's not, then it can lead to some, probably some psychosomatic bodily symptoms. So the mutable energy, Moon in Sagittarius, can be easily distracted by things. So you don't want to give them too many choices. Even though they get turned on by having a lot of choices, if they have too many choices, then they can get mired in indecision. And that would certainly cause a lot of annoyance, not only to them, but to people around them. So it's good not to give them too many choices. And it's good not to bore them. They absolutely cannot tolerate boredom. If you are a monotonous person, then they will not get along with you for sure. So Moon in Sagittarius, very inspired, operates like lightning, blazing fast. We're talking about inspiration that is sort of coming to them like a lightning bolt, and they want to spread their influence far and wide. Sagittarius wants to go beyond its boundaries and the boundaries of others. It wants to cover all the territory it possibly can, and it wants its inspirational nature to propagate automatically and without end as far as possible. Very enthusiastic and invigorating, and that's one reason why they're so popular. Another reason they're very popular is because they are warm personalities, outgoing, hopeful, and optimistic. And so they have this special power where they can make a lot of people happy at once. They can uplift you and everybody around them just like that at the snap of a finger. However, on the downside, they might be prone to generalizations, and they might be convinced of their correctness. Sometimes Sagittarius can think of itself as actually being holier than God, and that can be a little bit of a turnoff. But one thing that I love about this sign and people with the moon here is that they craft these theories that operate on a massive scale. They truly believe in the unlimited potential of humanity, and they want to expand your mind. They have a very robust intellect, and to me, this makes the moon in Sagittarius very attractive. So if you know anybody with the moon in this sign, then you are very fortunate, and I'm sure that you think very highly of this person. And I hope that this video today gives you an expanded view of what it means to have the moon in this sign. So in future uploads, I think I'll move on to the moon in the water element next and discuss what it means to have the moon in this element. Moon in water is a bit more at home than the moon in fire. Moon in fire signs speak to a certain track of spiritual incarnations that have to do with the ego, with defining the identity and sort of relishing the identity and being very self-oriented. That's their spiritual task. That's what they're born to do. Aries is all about the blossoming of self-awareness. Leo is about securing that self-awareness and fixing the identity in place and making it a permanent structure. But Sagittarius is all about going beyond its boundaries in order to learn about the identity. So when we get to the moon in water signs, we're talking about a completely different track of incarnations. And so that will be what's coming next. So I will see you next week with those. Thank you for watching. And if you would like to contact me, the address is steven@fatedcrossings.com. Thank you.